The Truman Doctrine was the first real test of putting Kennedy's idea of containment into practice. It was put into practice in Greece and Turkey. Greece and Turkey had both been experiencing issues from communist forces, and in particular in Greece, the communists had been fighting against the monarchy for about 2 or 3 years now after the end of the Second World War. Now, Britain was originally providing most of the aid to the Greek forces in order to fight the communist insurgency. Now, actually, Stalin wasn't behind it, despite the Western Allies believing it was more to do with Yugoslavia and Tito. But by the middle of 1947, Britain told the US that it would not be able to continue paying. Sorry, slightly earlier than that. It's by the 31st of March, it would stop paying for the Greek forces, which was seen as a disaster for the US because it was wouldn't stop communism. So Truman decided to try and implement something called the Truman Doctrine, which is about basically supplying American means to countries which were fighting communism at the time, so, money and guns. However, the Republicans controlled Congress after the 1946 mid-elections. In particular, this is down to the death of Roosevelt, and also Americans didn't see where they had to get involved in Europe. The Republicans had promised to cut taxes, and therefore Truman had to persuade a fiscally conservative Congress to support him. So he united public opinion behind the communist threat through propaganda, etc. His tactic worked. Congress granted Truman $400 million of aid, $250 million went to Greece, $150 million went to Turkey. And this showed two things. One, that the Americans could provide aid for other countries fighting communism, but also, second of all, that the US would support any kind of government that was opposing communism, because the Greek and Turkish governments were not models of democracy. They were corrupt, and they regularly imprisoned their opposition. Also, the Truman Doctrine led to an increased build-up of military forces. Between June 1947 and June 1948, the US increased the number of atomic bombs from 13 to 50, and they had 18 B-50 bombers and B-50 bombers of the type that could carry an atomic bomb.